Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another amazing situation regarding Whimpering Wastes and Wuthering Waves. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I've already put out a bunch of content over here talking about how absolutely awful this most recent reset is, but it's actually just about to get worse once I show you the history, the track record, and the shilling that has occurred over the past 6 months that looks like, honestly, it looks like it's never going to end. And I've got the main culprit for you, or for all the shilling, all the problems, right here. Frostlands, where Baroness thrives. You might be familiar with this one. It's basically like a whole, like, frost flower looking thing. It's a token in Whimpering Wastes, basically a shield buff that your characters are supposed to use to be able to be stronger if they have certain elements of their kit that work with it. And as you can see, this token over here focuses on dealing more damage to enemies that, well, have a Tune debuff on them, Tune Rupture or Tune Strained. They also get big buffs to their off-tune build-up rate, 100% increase, Tune Break boost to 50, dealing Tune Break damage grants like up to 70% Spectro and 70% fusion damage bonus. It's insane, right? It's a lot, and it's one of the most powerful tokens ever made in the history of the game. And it makes sense, because it's for Aemeath. Everyone loves Aemeath. Everyone loves this character, right? Everyone loves our daughter. But what about everybody else on the roster? What about everybody else in the family? Because that token, that shilling, the Tune Rupture bonuses, the Linnae bonuses, all of that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been going on for, I think, about half the year at this point. And I've got all the proof. This is the current season of Whimpering Wastes. This website over here actually shows you all of the tokens, all of the buffs, all of the enemies that showed over the past couple of resets. And we've got all the resets over here all the way back to Season 12, which was actually 2025 of last year. And what I wanted to show you today was, naturally, all the tokens that we've had in this game across that span of time. Season 17 is the most recent one. That's the one that we're on right now. You can see all the tokens that are currently in-game, right? You can see all the tokens that are currently in-game. Nothing too wild over here. What if we go back to Season 16, though? Frostlands, where Baroness thrives. Then we had the token for Sagrika, and then we had a token for Hiyuki. What if we go to Season 15, though? Oh, it's back. It's fucking back. Frostlands, where Baroness thrives, the Sagrika token, and then get ready for this one. It's the Fusion Burst token. Blueprints, where stars are etched. Gain a 40% fusion damage bonus. Enemies take 100% more total damage from Fusion Burst. Bro, the last time they reran this was Season 15. That was in March 16th to April 12th. We already have another different Fusion Burst token. So Fusion Burst has been shilled twice in the span of like 2 fucking months. And, well, guess what? Frostlands, where Baroness thrives, that Tune Rupture, Tune Strained one, that's been 3 months in a row. Season 15, Season 16, Season 17, we've seen this fucking thing. Wouldn't it be crazy if you went to... That's the 4th season in a row. 4 Whimpering Wastes resets in a row where we've had the same token for Aemeath again. Bro, this looks like she's the only unit in the fucking game at this point. She came out in 3.1. It's 3.3. There hasn't been a break since 3.1 to 3.3 when it comes to her shield token being in Whimpering Wastes. She has had it since her release up until now, and her banner has not even reran a single fucking time. What logic is going on over here? How do you even do this as developers? And do you want to know what the most brutal thing is about this Season 14 reset? The first time we had this bullshit Tune token introduced, not only was that in February, that was the last time that we saw this token. Falling Star that tears Fate apart. The last time we saw this thing was in February, bro. And this was the general token. The one that just buffs everyone on the roster. Doesn't need any shilling. Doesn't need any specific part of their kit to be emphasized. It just buffs everybody. And so this is essentially what I'm saying over here. Season 14 was when this bad boy was here. The Fusion Burst token is back, and the last time we saw the General one. And then Season 13, General one. Then a Toon Rupture token over here. This one was kind of like, I think this one was kind of like shit. So they kind of like made it better. That was a Toon Rupture token as well. So really, it's been since Season 13. 13 to 17. We've had a shield token focused on Toon Rupture or Toon Strain. And Season 14 was the last time we had a general token. It's basically going to be over a year, or close to a year, where one person on the roster has gotten shield over and over and over again. And you've actually removed general tokens from the roster that used to run just so that we could exclusively run more Aemeath tokens. There's no reason for Frostlands where Baroness thrives to be here 5 resets in a row, while you take away Falling Star that tears Fate apart. Instead of getting this general token another time in any reset, guys, we are replacing this with Frostlands where Baroness thrives over and over and over again. Does she still need it? I'm being honest, Kuro Games. Does Aemeath still need this? It's been 4 months. Do people still not have their Aemeaths built? Because it's very clear you're not supposed to be shilling units for this long. Why did Sigrika's token, the one that increases arrow damage and makes enemies take more echo skill damage, why did Sigrika's token only last for 2 resets? Season 15 and Season 16. And then, by the time Season 17 comes around, that shit is gone. She got 2 resets, 2 months, and then it was fucking out of here. And then Aemeath gets the whole fucking year. Aemeath isn't even a bad character in this game mode, bro. She actually clears just fine if you decide to use the Toon Rupture purple token on her. Bro, people have had the opportunity to build for her team for months. And she's also now getting a broken Fusion Burst team as well with Denya and Shisa. And you even have a token for that one. Bro, do we still need this thing here? Or are you essentially setting a new standard? Because this is kind of what I don't like. Aemeath is proving herself to be the only, like, real citizen on the Wuthering Waves roster. Everyone else is basically a second-class citizen. Isn't a unit like Sigrika, who's only going to get shilled 1 time and get 1 additional reset. Isn't a unit like Sigrika worth less than a unit like Aemeath? Where Aemeath is going to run 1 time, not even rerun yet. And then she's going to get a smooth, easy, brainless ride through the endgame for 6 months afterwards. It kind of just makes the other units on the roster feel like shit, right? It kind of just makes you think that other units are being treated with either way less care, or they're simply just not meant to be as strong as others. Which kind of doesn't make sense when all of the units fundamentally cost the same number of resources and pulls and stuff to like level up and everything like that. Aemeath is without a doubt a higher value unit than anybody else over here. But do you need to make it this upfront and this obvious? Hey, if you pull our next Sentinel Resonator, we're going to be shilling them in the TOA and Whimpering Wastes and End State Matrix for the next 6 fucking months. If you pull this one Sentinel unit, you're essentially going to get, at least in the end game, double or triple or even quadruple the value of every other character. I think that's kind of like dumb. I don't think it makes like that much sense. I think it's kind of like ridiculous if we're going to be real here, because I think it's gone on for too long. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of unadulterated shilling is actually too much. But maybe that's just me, because I've really seen the degradation of this game mode. Did you know that on top of Aemeath being shilled for the 5th fucking month in a row, they also increased the HP inflation of all the enemies by 20%? So it's a combo. It's a 2-hit combo, ladies and gentlemen, of more HP inflation across the board everywhere for every single mob. And then they also remove the only general token we've had in like the history of the updated Weewa. And they keep running this fucking thing instead. Aemeath, the unit that doesn't even need a gold token to clear, gets shilled over and over and over again so that she can get well above scores that are clearing. And then every other team in the game is getting told to go fuck themselves because their general token disappears and never comes back. And then on top of the general token never coming back, it's 20% HP inflation? So you feel not having Aemeath even more. This is my personal take. Weewa is getting out of control. It actually genuinely feels like Whimpering Wastes has like a different development team or like a different management team than TOA and like End State Matrix. I feel like whoever is currently designing Whimpering Wastes might like need to be fired, bro. They might actually genuinely need to be fired because it seems like they're going in an opposite direction to everything else that Kuro Games is doing. It is like a diverging path. And it is, without a doubt, the worst endgame mode we have in the game because they only seem to be emphasizing the shit that makes it worse. More obscene levels of shilling, removing general tokens, keeping away general tokens for several months, and then shilling units that don't even need shilling. Do you want to know what the most disgusting part about like this whole debacle is? You don't even need to try particularly hard because End State Matrix? Bro, what is so hard about just doing something like this? Isn't this just the token system, but then they add a general one? It's 3 specific buffs to 3 specific damage archetypes, and then they have a 4th one that's just general for everybody. What is so hard about this? What are you doing? Where is the disconnect? How can the newest one have such a simple way of buffing and stuff, and then this is just, bro, I'm getting cancer. Why can't we have a general one here? Why can't we have a general one here? What is the issue? What is the concern? Just bring back this motherfucker and make it permanent. What's wrong with having 4 golden tokens? You have 4 enhancements. What's wrong with 4 tokens? You've already broken the rule of 3. Who cares? Because that's 90% of the reason why seeing this shit get spammed over and over again for 6 months in a row is so insulting. I wouldn't give a fuck at all if they shilled this thing for 6 months in a row if we just had the general enhancement token the whole time. But when you take out gold tokens for 98% that 98% of units can use, for a token only 2 units on the roster can use, and then spam it for months in a row, you are showing way too much favoritism. And it's making a lot of characters, specifically in Weewa, feel like giga shit when they don't need to. I think that's the main issue. None of this feels sensical. It feels like there's just been easy solutions the whole goddamn time. And it feels like these decisions are being made because the guy in charge is legitimately fucking dumb. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. It just feels like stupidity. Like they hired somebody. They actually literally hired one of the gameplay designers from like Hoyoverse in this situation. Maybe that's why we're all getting so mad about this. But yeah, this is just my personal take over here of probably the second biggest issue that I see impacting Whimpering Wastes and Wuthering Waves as a whole. And the sooner they get this fixed, the sooner they get this solved. God, I would take a fucking hot fix at this point. It's like they're trying to make us crash out. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.